So that's where I start, but it's not where we finish. I want to give you a way to kind of break down these situations and what's happening when microaggressions and micro triggers are actually being said. So outright, there's the person that's saying the statement. There's the joker or the sender, depending on which one you want to use, right? Then there's the subject matter. And again, we talked about it's not just a run-of-the-mill joke. It's particularly joking about something that a marginalized or a stigmatized group already has to deal with in a real capacity. So people are already making fun of, the skin or black people's skin. People are already making fun of images and making body shaming a big thing in the entertainment industry. People are already making these topics a big deal. And the microaggression piece comes in because you're doing it in a way that's like, oh, I'm not really, not like that. It's not that serious. I'm just, I'm just talking. So you're adding salt to a wound already festering. Okay, bet. So, Joker, subject matter, there's the receiver, clear as day, just like Joker. There's the interpretation and the reaction, both of which are more subjective than the first three. Because in the previous example about my girlfriend, we were talking about black people, we were talking about their skin tones, we were talking about how they look. Like subject matter, joker, receivers, very much obvious. The interpretation and the reaction were completely up to us in that point in time. And you're going to have a different one, like I said, depending on the situation you're in. We chose to interpret she didn't mean anything by it. And we chose to react in a positive way. And thank you, appreciate the kindness. Keep it moving. That's how we chose to interpret and react. But sometimes, if you're slick enough, and depending on what you choose to joke about, you might get the interpretation and reaction of, oh, you're being funny, now I gotta whoop your ass. And we saw that happen with the previous president and how stuff happened out in the country and with citizens. That's a whole other thing, but I'm just saying, and that, you know what, it won't even discreet at that point. It won't even a microaggression at that point. You just had bigots coming out the woodwork saying whatever the fuck they thought and then meaning it, not even trying to hide it behind a joke. You got Texas out here making it okay or making it unlawful to abort babies and making it unlawful to teach black history. Yeah, no. So definitely tripped on that last president. Got some people fucked up out here. But anyway, back to the main shit at hand, right? Joker, subject matter, receiver, interpretation, and reaction. When you're starting to feel these social interactions happen, and when you're starting to feel these statements being said, try to apply and identify which piece falls where in what I just heard. Who was the sender or the joker? Who was the receiver? How did they interpret? What was the subject matter? And it's really important because some subject matter is worse than others, right? So the one about me eating watermelon because I'm black is a little bit less offensive than the comment about the black skin and the color that my girlfriend was wearing, because, one is just about what they like. The other is about what we look like. There's tiers. So, how to identify a microaggression, micro trigger, and how to label each piece of that social situation right there. You mentioned the effects that these statements have on society. And I thought of 3 different effects to different extents. The first one is the effect that these statements have on us as the receiver, right? So people say so many things nowadays under the guise of, yeah, it's just a joke. Don't take it so seriously. I'm just playing, etc., etc. And what this does is make you feel crazy. You know, it makes you think of all the different morals and values and other things that you have that make you you. And it's like, well, am I wrong to feel this way because I interpreted and reacted to this statement like that? Like, I didn't think I was that far out of bounds. I thought what they were speaking about was a more serious topic, but when they said it, the people that I was around, they didn't necessarily feel anything, and maybe I am wrong. No, you're not wrong. People say slick shit all the time now and don't expect to be checked. There's a problem with accountability now that I think people want to be able to do everything, but when you do you do it well, and do you do it to the level that I should support you through it? They don't want to have that conversation. It's just let me do whatever I want to do and not hear no feedback on it. So, one, these microaggressions, micro triggers, and playing them off like they're not deeper, causing a lot of psychological turmoil for the people who are like, no, this should actually mean something. And that's not good. We don't need people feeling alienated, like nobody understands them, like they're not heard. That's when bad things happen. The second thing I thought about how it affects society, it's more internal, but I think it is a truism that we all need to come to terms with. And that is the fact that whether you like it or not, your words have power. Like, I can't stress it enough. It bothers me. And it kind of runs off of that first point, how people are saying, oh, it's not that serious. Don't take yourself too seriously. I'm just playing. It's not that deep. Yes, it is. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, your words have power. So if you're joking, oh, I ain't shit, I ain't never going to do that. Or you're really down on yourself. I really don't have the ability to do this. I'm not really feeling the most confident. I don't believe I can do this. They have the same effect. Like, case in point, I'm sure we all were told about, like, safe bets versus like those reach goals. You know what I'm talking about? Because we did the same thing trying to get into school. What's a safety school? And then what's a school you're trying to reach for? Same thing with jobs. What's a job I know I can get, but what's a job that, you know, I'm a reach for that's a little bit outside of where I'm comfortable, right? If you joke and say that you can't reach your highest point, you're not going to reach it. Like, that puts energy out there on you. You don't want to joke. Self-deprecating, it's good in moderation, but it's not good for when you're actually trying to get energy and motivation to do something. Your words have power. So whether you're joking, being serious, or not, think about what you're saying, because you could just be working yourself out of something or putting some bad energy on somebody else with what you're saying. So think about the power that your words have. And then following right up behind that is things aren't deep just when they pertain to you. So if you build from all three of those points, starting at the fact that things are deeper than they appear, and your words have power all the time, like, then you realize, just as much as I'm affected when somebody else says something, I should probably watch my tongue when I'm about to go say what I'm thinking, because how could this affect somebody else? And I can't just go around spewing, saying bullshit just because I don't care, but then somebody turn around and say something to me, say one thing, and I'm all up in arms, you know? I'm in my feelings. No, things can't just be deep when they pertain to you. So really think about what you're going to say before you say it, because if somebody else said it back to you, how are you feeling? Just think it through. Just think it through. I'm finishing up with what I think you can do to be an advocate, to be a proponent of, you know, real jokes, positivity, self-love, all of that. Really, it just starts with being intentional. Being intentional, being intentional, being intentional. What do I mean? 3 things. Stop and, like I said, think about what you're gonna say. And I actually wrote it down. I said, does my opinion really need to be said, or has the sentiment already been expressed? This isn't just about micro triggers anymore. This is about being intentional in your speech always, right? So, does my opinion really need to be said, or has it been captured? That's something you could think about. We have the ability to speak. Everybody has the option to speak, but do they need to exercise that? No. Especially if it's already been said. We've been in classes where people keep saying the same thing over and over, like the slightest change and variation. Like, come on now. It's already been covered. Like I already said, how would I feel if this were said to or about me? If I don't want it, 9 times out of 10, it's probably not going to be the best for anybody else either. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And third, with being intentional, it is coming to terms with the fact that not everybody is going to agree. Not everybody's going to like what I had to say. But at least with me being thorough, thinking it out, being intentional with what I'm going to say, I have my points ready. You know, I can be in a good discussion with you about if you oppose what I'm thinking, why, and I can tell you why I actually believe or am saying what I'm saying, not just spewing bullshit because for the hell of it. You know, so I hope that makes sense. Be intentional. And there's plenty of other ways to be intentional. These are just 3. I'm sure you can think of some of your own ways to be intentional. I'm sure you can think of some of your own microaggressions or micro triggers that you've either said, heard, or had said to you that made you feel like, what the fuck? Yeah, think about that. Let me know what some of your experiences are. And we'll keep the conversation going. Appreciate you for watching. Deuces. When I ask y'all for stuff, I really do want it. Like, I sit here and spin my wheels, but I'll actually go somewhere once I'm starting to talk to somebody or talking to you. So continue. Let me know. Hit me in my DMs if you don't want to leave something in the comments. I won't let everybody know who it is. If you want to be more anonymous, I can do that. Like, let's work. Anyway.